The jungle of Vornis 12 was loud, glowing, and dangerous. Giant blue leaves shook in the wind, and huge insect-like creatures screamed from the treetops. A crashed human escape pod lay broken between the roots of a massive tree. Smoke rose from the cracked metal surface. Ethan Cole, a human engineer from Earthfleet, pushed open the emergency hatch. His clothes were burned, his face dirty, but he was still alive. He looked around, breathing hard. The forest floor trembled under his boots. Not normal trembling heavy footsteps, slow and powerful. Ethan froze. His escape pod had crashed only 30 minutes ago, and he already knew this planet was not friendly. Even the plants looked like they wanted to eat him. He grabbed his small repair tool and whispered to himself, "Just fix the beacon, Ethan. Just fix it. Someone will come." But then the ground shook again. This time, harder. The nearby trees moved aside, branches snapping like toys. A huge shadow fell across Ethan's body. He slowly looked up. And then he saw her. A giantess. At least 15 feet tall, maybe more. Her skin was bronze and smooth, her muscles carved like stone. She wore armor made of large crystal plates. 2 long braids of dark silver hair fell across her shoulders. Her eyes glowed violet, like burning plasma. She was a member of the legendary warrior race, Thalkara, known for their size, their strength, and their brutal traditions. Ethan had read about them in old reports. But seeing one in real life was completely different. She bent down slowly, her shadow swallowing him entirely. Ethan could feel her warm breath on his face. She studied him like a scientist studying a tiny, strange animal. He tried to stay calm. He tried to remember the protocol for unexpected alien contact. Too late. His brain short-circuited. The giantess blinked at him, her face unreadable, and Ethan, the idiot he was when nervous, whispered, "You look really strong." For a second, silence. Then everything changed. The giantess inhaled sharply. Her pupils widened, her chest rose and fell faster. She whispered in her deep thunder-like voice, "Human. You honor me." Ethan blinked. "What?" She slowly extended her huge hand toward him. Ethan stumbled backward, but there was nowhere to run. She gently but firmly wrapped her fingers around him and lifted him off the ground like he weighed nothing. Hey, no. Ethan shouted. But the giantess was already turning away, carrying him in one hand. "You have chosen me," she said proudly. Ethan froze. "What did I choose?" The giantess did not explain. Instead, she walked through the glowing jungle, each step shaking leaves from the branches. Ethan could only bounce helplessly in her grip. He tried to speak again. "Look, maybe this is a misunderstanding. I just said you look strong because you are strong. I wasn't choosing anything." Her eyes softened, but her voice was firm. "In my culture," she said, "a male who admires a female's strength gives his heart. By ancient law, you are now my claimed one." Ethan's soul left his body for a moment. "You're what?" "But..." She didn't slow down. The jungle echoed with distant roars and strange blue mist drifting between trees. Ethan realized she was taking him deeper into the forest toward danger, not away from it. They passed ruins of old stone structures. Tall broken pillars covered in vines. Strange glowing carvings on the ground. Ethan had no idea what kind of creatures lived here, or what kind of ceremony he had accidentally triggered. The giantess kept speaking proudly, unaware of his panic. "I am Ralin, daughter of the Iron Crest. I have trained for many seasons, but no male ever chose me before." Her voice softened. "Your words meant more than you know." Ethan covered his face. "Oh no. Oh no. I am so dead." Ralin stepped into a clearing where a huge camp of giant warriors stood. Tents made from beast hides, fire pits with smoking bones, and at the center, a ceremonial platform. The other giantesses gasped loudly when they saw Ethan in her hand. One of them shouted, "A human male chose you?" Raylin lifted her chin. Proudly, he admired my strength. The warriors cheered. Ethan shook his head violently. I did not admire anything. I was just being polite. Humans say nice things to avoid dying. Nobody listened. A giantess ran toward them holding a piece of parchment. The ritual preparations begin immediately. The human has offered the binding. Praise, Ethan panicked. No, nitrogen monoxide ritual, nitrogen monoxide binding. I didn't offer anything. The giantess carrying the paper frowned. But he said you look strong. That's just basic human survival behavior. Ethan yelled. The crowd laughed. Raylin held Ethan close to her chest protectively, not aggressively. Do not fear. Little human, she murmured. I will guide you through the ceremony. It is our duty now. Ethan stared at her in horror. What duty? She smiled softly. You will learn soon. And with that, the giantess carried him into the ceremonial hall, where torches burned blue and ancient drums began to echo through the night. The hook ends here. The audience is glued. Rain carried Ethan through the giant warrior's camp as if he were a precious relic. The massive torches lit the clearing with blue fire, casting strange shadows over the stone walls and tall bone-carved pillars. Every few steps, a giantess stopped what she was doing and stared at Ethan in awe. Some whispered, some giggled. Some looked jealous. Ethan, held tightly in Raylin's hand, felt his heartbeat slamming in his chest. I should have kept my mouth shut. I should have said nothing. He muttered to himself. Raylin glanced down. You are trembling. Do not fear. Your praise honored me. I will keep you safe. Say F.E.? Ethan squeaked. From what? From you? She blinked, confused. From everything. You are small, fragile, important. Ethan groaned. He was in a nightmare. The giants led Raylin to a massive tent, a ceremonial structure, made of dark red hides and tall wooden spikes. Strange runes glowed on the entrance. 2 armored guards stepped aside as Raylin walked inside with Ethan. The air changed. It smelled of incense, warm herbs, and something metallic. 5 elder giantesses sat around a glowing circular pit, which emitted blue flames. One of the elders spoke in a deep, echoing voice. Raylin of Iron Crest. You bring us the outsider. Male who offered the sacred praise. Raylin nodded confidently. He chose me. No, I didn't. Ethan shouted, waving his arms. All the elders turned toward him for the first time. Ethan realized something terrifying. These giantesses were even bigger than Raylin. One leaned down, her face inches from Ethan, her eyes glowing like planets. She sniffed him, long and slow. Ethan froze. This is extremely uncomfortable. The elder inhaled again, then smiled. Yes, she said. His scent shows sincerity. His praise was true. My scent? Lady, that is sweat and fear. Another elder nodded wisely. Fear is normal during courtship. Ethan wanted to cry. The bonding scroll, a giant scroll made of beast skin, was unrolled across the floor. It had drawings, a male praising a female warrior, the female carrying him, then a ritual chamber, then the duty, then a celebration. Ethan stared at the drawings in horror. One elder tapped a symbol. This is the sacred duty. The male must show loyalty. The female must protect him. Together they strengthen the tribe. I am not strengthening anything. Ethan yelled. The elders ignored him. They chanted. The ritual begins at moonrise. Ethan choked. Moonrise? That's in he checked his wrist device. 40 minutes? Raylin held him gently. It will not be painful. Little human, that does not help. Preparations. Giant to giant assistants entered the tent and approached Raylin. One whispered, we must prepare the male. Ethan's soul left his body. Prepare me for what? Before he could struggle, the assistants gently yet firmly lifted him away from Ralin. She watched calmly. Believing this was normal. The assistants carried Ethan toward a stone basin filled with warm glowing liquid. Oh no. No, don't you dare. They dipped him inside. Ethan screamed like a boiling kettle. The liquid wasn't hot, it tingled, like thousands of tiny bubbles covering his skin. It smelled like flowers and metal. This will cleanse you, one assistant said. I was already clean. Clean enough. Too clean. Ethan shrieked. They scrubbed him with huge soft brushes. For them, it was gentle. For Ethan, it was like being washed by car-sized loo fast. He flailed around like a cat forced into a bathtub. Outside the basin, Raylin waited patiently, admiring his bravery for enduring the preparation. Then the assistants placed Ethan on a warm cloth to dry. They even braided a tiny piece of his hair for attractiveness, they explained. Ethan looked like he was one insult away from fainting. Raylin's paritara. Ethan suffered. Raylin underwent her own preparation. The elders painted glowing symbols on her arms and chest. She stood proudly, massive muscles shimmering under the blue fire. The symbols represented strength, courage, protection, and fertility. Ethan saw the symbols from across the tent and nearly passed out. No nitrogen monoxide. Nitrogen monoxide. What are those? Why do they look like baby symbols? Raylin smiled softly. They show I am worthy of you. Ethan banged his head against his hands. This planet is going to kill me. The talker Lynn finally picked Ethan up again, clean, glowing, and miserable. She held him close to her chest and spoke gently. You are quiet now. Are you afraid? Yes, Ethan cried. I don't belong here. I'm not doing any ritual. I don't want to be your claimed one. Raylin looked hurt, truly hurt. Her brows lowered. Her voice softened to almost a whisper. Did you not mean it? When you praised my strength? Ethan's eyes widened. This giant woman, this unstoppable warrior, was scared he didn't like her. He swallowed. I only said it to not die, he admitted. Humans say polite things when scared. It didn't mean choosing. Raylin stared at him for a long moment. Then she whispered, so humans do not praise strength for love? No, Ethan shouted. We say it to be nice, to avoid fights. It's normal. Raylin stepped back, her huge heart clearly confused. She turned her head away, voice heavy. I misunderstood. The elders gasped. The assistants froze. The entire tent fell silent. A chosen male rejecting a warrior female had never happened before. The taboo ist, but before Ethan could calm her, a deafening horn exploded across the jungle. Outside, the ground shook violently. Shadows moved beyond the tents. A warrior giantess ran inside, panting. Raylin! A rival tribe approaches. They seek the human male. They want his genetics for themselves. Ethan screamed. Why does everyone want my genes? Raylin's eyes turned fierce. She lifted Ethan close and growled. They will not take you. You praised me, even if by mistake. She stepped toward the exit, blades in hand. You are mine to protect. The elders nodded. Then fulfill your first duty as a partner. Defend him, Ethan squeaked. First duty? How many duties are there? Raylin charged out of the tent as the enemy tribe arrived. The misunderstanding was over. Now the real danger began. The night sky above. Vornis 12 flashed with lightning that wasn't lightning at all. It was the glow of energy spears fired by the approaching rival tribe. Their shadows moved through the glowing mist like giants made of living smoke. Raylin stepped out of the ceremonial tent, still holding Ethan against her chest with one arm protecting him, as if he were something priceless. The drumbeats of war shook the entire ground. Ethan clung to her armor, shouting, Put me down. I can run on my own. No, Ralin said calmly. You are too small, too easy to lose. I will hold you. That is not comforting. Before she could answer, a monstrous roar shook the trees. The rival tribe arrived, giant warriors, but larger, wilder, covered in bone armor. Their leader, a huge giantess with white war paint, stepped forward. Her name was Vishar, and she was feared across 4 territories. She pointed her massive spear at Rylin. Hand over the human male. Vishar thundered. His compliment belongs to all tribes. The binding ritual must be shared. Ethan screamed. Nitrogen monoxide, it does not. I didn't compliment any of you. Rylin pulled him closer, her muscles tensing. He chose me, she growled. Vishar smirked. You claim a male for the first time, and you think we will let you keep him? He is small, but rare. Humans are powerful breeders. Ethan's jaw dropped. Stop talking about me like I'm a pet. Vishar slammed her spear into the ground. Warriors, take him. The rival tribe roared. Ralin turned, her body curling protectively around Ethan. Hold tight, she whispered. What do you mean hold tight? Too late. She launched into the air. With one jump, she landed on a stone platform above the camp and placed Ethan behind a broken pillar. Stay here, she commanded. Ethan peeked over the edge. I'm staying here because you threw me here. But Ralin was already leaping back into the Sendit battlefield. The fight beat giants. The 2 tribes clashed like titans. Spears cracked, stone shattered. Fire erupted from ritual pits. Ralin fought like a storm. But Vishar was bigger, stronger, and she had 3 warriors backing her. Ethan watched helplessly from behind the broken pillar. This is bad. She can't take all of them. For the first time since the crash, fear twisted inside Ethan, not for himself, but for Ralin. Despite her misunderstanding, despite dragging him into this chaos, she had defended him with everything. She had. He couldn't watch her die. Not because of a compliment, not because of him. Ethan's HFY moment. Ethan looked around desperately. He saw broken tools, ropes, ceremonial pots, old ruins with glowing lines carved into stone. His engineer brain kicked in. This place is ancient, charged. Maybe I can use it. He ran along the platform, small, unseen, gathering anything he could find. A cracked blue stone, a rope, a broken wooden pole, a metal shield. He tied them together with shaking hands. He didn't know if it would work, but he had to try. Down below, Ralin struggles. Vishar slammed her foot into the ground, making the earth crack. Ralin stumbled. 3 rival warriors pinned her arms. Vishar approached her with a cruel smile. You are weak, Ralin. No male would truly choose you. Ralin lowered her head, shame filling her violet eyes. Ethan heard every word. His chest tightened. No, Ethan whispered. That's not true. He climbed onto the highest rock, holding his homemade device built only minutes ago. He screamed with all the force in his lungs. HFY. Boneheads, leave her alone. Every giant in the battlefield froze. A tiny human stood on a tall stone, holding a glowing blue sphere attached to a rope and pole, like some kind of alien slingshot. Vishar roared with laughter. This male dares challenge us. What will you do, little creature? Scratch my ankle? Ethan grinned. No, I'll blind you. He swung the device hard. The glowing stone activated charging energy. From the runes on the ground. Ethan released it. The sphere exploded, midair, into a massive flash of bright blue light. Vishar screamed, clutching her eyes. Her warriors staggered back, blinded and confused. The entire battlefield shook. Ralin stared at Ethan in shock. You helped me, Ethan gulped. I didn't want you to die before we fixed this giant misunderstanding. Ralin returns to the FIGU with the rival warriors blinded. Ralin ripped free and charged like lightning. She struck the nearest warrior with a crushing blow. She flipped another over her shoulder. She kicked a third straight into a tree. Vishar recovered and swung her massive spear at Ethan. The spear missed by inches, slicing the rock he stood on. Ethan fell backwards. Ralin! The giantess turned and sprinted toward him with terrifying speed. Before Ethan hit the ground, her massive hand scooped him up, pressing him to her chest. She held him like he was the most precious thing in the world. You are safe, she whispered. Ethan clung to her fingers. Not for long. She's still cunning. Raylan turned, shielded Ethan with her body, and shouted a battle cry that shook the forest. The two giantesses clashed, Ralin's fists against Vishar's spear. Ralin wins. Because of a Vishar charged for a killing strike, but Ethan grabbed one of Rylin's necklace charms and threw it at Vishar's face. It worked. She flinched. Ralin seized the moment, grabbing the spear, breaking it in half, and slamming Vishar to the ground. Silence fell. The rival tribe retreated into the jungle. Defeated, Ralin stood tall, breathing heavily, still holding Ethan safely in her arms. The truth comes out. Ralin lowered Ethan gently onto her palm. You fought for me, she whispered. I have never had anyone do that. Ethan wiped dirt from his face. I couldn't let them hurt you. Even if we had a misunderstanding, you didn't deserve that. Ralin's voice softened. Then, perhaps. Your praise was not meaningless, Ethan sighed. Maybe not. But I still didn't choose the ritual. She nodded, looking down. I understand now. Humans speak differently. She paused. But I still feel honored that you spoke kindly of me, even if by mistake. Ethan smiled weakly. Well, it wasn't a lie. You are strong. Ralin froze. Her pupils widened again. Oh no, Ethan whispered. I said it again. She smiled gently. This time, I know what you mean. Before Ethan could respond, an elder approached. Bring the human inside, she said. He must learn the truth about the ancient duty. There's more than mating. Much more. Ralin lifted Ethan and walked toward the temple. The moon rose behind them. The true ritual was about to begin. Ralin carried Ethan back into the ceremonial temple, now dimly lit with blue fire. The battle outside had left smoke drifting through the trees, and the distant growls of jungle beasts echoed around them. Yet inside the temple, everything felt strangely calm. Ethan sat carefully in Ralin's palm, exhausted but still alert. The elders gathered again, forming a circle around the blue flame pit. Their faces were serious, not angry, not disappointed. Something else. The oldest elder spoke first. Human Ethan, you risked your life for Ralin. That action has meaning. Ethan swallowed. I only helped because she helped me first. And because she didn't deserve to be attacked. Another elder nodded. Then you must understand something. The ancient duty is not about mating. Not first, not even second. Ethan blinked. What? Ralin looked at him with gentle regret. I should have explained sooner, but you were frightened. I thought it would only confuse you. Ethan rubbed his forehead. I've been confused since minute one. The oldest elder lifted a stone tablet. On it were 3 carved symbols: strength, protection, bond, she explained. The first duty is trust. The second is protection. Only the third is what you fear. Ethan exhaled in relief and frustration. So I'm not expected to do the third thing right now. The elders laughed softly. No, human child. That comes only when both agree. Ethan's shoulders slackened. Oh, thank God. I thought I'd be forced into something. Rylin lowered her face closer to him, eyes soft. I would never force you. I only misunderstood your words. My people, we rarely receive praise. So when you spoke kindly, it felt like a miracle. Ethan stared at her. Rylin, the towering warrior who could crush trees, looked almost shy. And that surprised him. More than anything, The tender moment Trelane sat on a stone platform and let Ethan explore her palm freely. Her massive fingers curled gently around him like a warm shelter. You know, Ethan said slowly, I thought you were taking me to some kind of giant mating dungeon. She blinked. Mating dungeon? Ethan nodded. Yes, with torches and drums and chanting. That was a cleansing ceremony, she interrupted. Ethan groaned. Oh, R'lyn tilted her head. Why do humans think of such strange things? Because we get kidnapped by giant warrior women. Ethan snapped. R'lyn smiled slightly. It was the first real smile he'd seen on her. The giantess reveals her theory after a long silence. R'lyn spoke quietly, almost nervously. I must tell you something. In my tribe, I am feared, not respected, not admired. Ethan raised a brow. Why? You're strong, skilled. You saved my life twice. She looked away. That is the problem. I am too strong. Our males fear me. Other tribes challenge me, not befriend me. I win every fight, but I lose everything else. Her voice lowered. No male has ever chosen me, not once. Ethan understood. For her, his compliment wasn't just politeness. It was the first warm thing anyone had ever said to her. He sighed. R'lyn, I didn't know. She looked at him again, eyes glowing gently. I know now that your words were not a ritual, but they still felt true. You saw something in me that no one else sees. Ethan scratched the back of his neck. Well, for what it's worth, I meant it. You are strong. Stronger than most humans I know. R'lyn inhaled sharply. Human Ethan. If you say that again, I might misunderstand on purpose this time. Ethan froze. Let's keep misunderstandings to a minimum. She chuckled, a deep sound that echoed like distant thunder. Ethan seized the real R'lyn, placed him gently on her shoulder. Ethan grabbed onto a lock of her silver hair to steady himself. The camp around them was slowly rebuilding. Warriors carried injured fighters, fires crackled, and distant beasts howled. But for the first time, Ethan did not feel afraid of R'lyn. He felt safe. She walked through the camp, proudly showing Ethan to the others, not as a ritual object, but as someone precious. And Ethan noticed something. She always positioned her shoulder away from danger. She shielded him every step. One warrior approached and saluted. R'lyn, you fought like a storm. The outsider male has great courage too. Ethan puffed his chest. Yeah, well, I'm pretty good with rocks and panic. R'lyn laughed again, but the elder interrupted the moment. You two must complete the second duty, she announced. Ethan froze. Is that the scary one? No, the elder said. That is the third. The second duty is simpler. R'lyn nodded with respect. Protection, she said softly. The elder pointed at Ethan. You must show loyalty. And R'lyn must guard you at all times until sunrise. If she succeeds, the misunderstanding will be forgiven. If she fails, another tribe may claim you. Ethan blinked. What do you mean claim? Like borrow? Rent? Share? No, R'lyn growled, eyes flashing. Nobody touches him. Something warm touched Ethan's chest. She wasn't claiming him out of force anymore. She was protecting him because she cared. The real threat, APPRO says. She asked before Ethan could relax. The ground shook again. A deep, distant roar echoed across the jungle, louder than anything before. R'lyn's eyes went wide. The great stalker, she whispered. It comes when blood is spilled. Ethan's stomach dropped. Great what? The elders stepped back in fear. R'lyn, your second duty begins now, the eldest warned. Protect the human, or both will die. The roar came again, closer. Trees cracked. The sky darkened. R'lyn lifted Ethan and held him tight against her chest. Do not leave my arms, she whispered. Whatever happens, Stay with me. Her heartbeat thundered behind him. Ethan swallowed hard. Ralin, can you beat that thing? She didn't answer, because even she wasn't sure. The jungle exploded open, and the legendary predator stepped into the clearing, huge, armored, with eyes the size of lanterns. Ethan clutched. Raylin's armor. The second duty had begun, and the true danger was only now revealing itself. The great stalker stepped out of the jungle like a living mountain. Its massive armored body glowed faintly under the moonlight. 4 red eyes blinked in different directions. Each breath made the trees tremble. Ethan's jaw dropped. That thing is real? I thought it was a myth like an alien Bigfoot. Ralin tightened her grip around him. Do not speak. It senses vibration and fear. Ethan whispered, "Oh." Then we're both dead. The great stalker roared. The sound ripped through the camp like a shockwave. Warriors stumbled backward. Fires flickered out. Even the elders stepped away in fear. Ralin planted her feet, holding Ethan close to her chest. The elder shouted, "Ralin!" The second duty, protect the human. Ralin raised her chin. I will, even if it kills me. And felt her heartbeat pounding against his back like a war drum. The beast sietched as the stalker lowered its head, snorting steam, and charged straight toward them. The ground cracked under its weight. Ralin jumped to the side, landing hard, shielding Ethan with her body. Ethan shouted, "You can't fight that thing alone." She whispered, "I must. This is my duty." The beast stomped again, snarling. Its claws were longer than spears. Its jaws could snap a boulder in half. Ralin set Ethan behind a fallen pillar. "Stay here." Ethan panicked. "No, I can help. You already helped enough. If you die, the tribe will lose everything." Before he could argue, she sprinted toward the monster, staff in hand. The clash of titans. Ralin leapt onto the beast's back and plunged her staff between its armored plates. The stalker shrieked and rolled, trying to crush her. Ethan watched in terror. Ralin jumped away just in time, sliding across the dirt, grabbing a discarded spear, and charging again. She stabbed. The spear shattered. The beast barely flinched. Ethan realized a horrifying truth. Her weapons can't pierce its armor. She's fighting something invincible. The stalker whipped its tail, hitting Ralin and sending her flying into a stone wall. Ethan screamed, "RHLYNN." She stood shaking, but still standing. Blood dripped from her forehead. Her breathing was ragged, but her eyes never left Ethan. "You are safe," she whispered to him from across the battlefield. "I will keep you safe." Ethan's throat tightened. She was willing to die for him, not because of a ritual, not because of a misunderstanding, but because she cared. Ethan makes his move. Ethan looked around desperately. He spotted ancient stone pillars with glowing runes, half buried in the ground. The same kind of energy stones he used before. And then he had an idea. A dangerous one. Ethan ran to the base of the pillar. Rune system, energy conduction. Basic physics. Okay, Ethan, don't die now. He hit the rune. The pillar glowed brighter. The great stalker turned it toward him. Ethan froze. Oh crap, it sees me. The beast charged toward him now. Ralin screamed, "Ethan, no." But Ethan stood his ground. At the last second, he jumped aside and slammed the glowing pillar with a rock. The pillar cracked and exploded with a blinding blue flash. The great stalker shrieked in pain, stumbling from the sudden burst of energy. Hitting its face, Ethan fell to the ground, coughing. Ralin ran to him, scooping him up with shaking hands. "Are you hurt?" Ethan wheezed. "I'm fine, but that thing is not." Ralin turned toward the monster, eyes blazing. "You dared chase what is mine." Ralin's final Esterreich. The beast charged again, but now it staggered. Blinded by the flash Ethan created, Ralin ducked under its claws and leapt onto its head. climbing with brute force. She reached the crack in its armor created by the rune explosion and rammed the broken spear into it with every ounce of strength she had. The beast screamed, thrashed, and crashed to the ground, shaking the entire jungle. Dead. Silence. Only the crackling of distant fires remained. Raylin dropped to her knees, exhausted. She held Ethan to her chest, breathing hard. "You foolish, brave human," she whispered. "You could have died." Ethan weakly put a hand on her cheek. "And you, giant, stubborn warrior, would have died without me." She stared at him long, silent, emotional. "You broke the rule," she said softly. "You were supposed to stay behind me." "And you broke physics," Ethan replied. "You wrestled a monster the size of a house." Her lips curved into a small, painful smile. The banditas as the tribe gathered around the dead stalker. They bowed their heads to Raylin. One warrior shouted, "Raylin has fulfilled the second duty." Another added, "The human showed loyalty. He did not run. He fought beside her." The elders nodded with deep respect. "You two share a bond stronger than ritual," the eldest said. Ethan blushed. Raylin looked away, suddenly shy. She held Ethan close to her heart. "You saved me," she whispered. "No one has ever saved me." Ethan breathed out slowly. "You saved me first." For a moment, they just looked at each other, really looked. The fear was gone. The misunderstanding was gone. Something new had taken its place. Something warm. Something strange. Something neither of them fully understood yet. The storm isn't over, but before they could speak again, a tremor shook the ground. Not from a beast, not from an attack, but from something worse. The rival tribe returning, with many more warriors. And they were furious. Ethan whispered, "Oh no. Here we go again." Raylin lifted him to her shoulder and stood tall. "This time," she said, voice fierce and calm, "we fight together." The air of Vornis 12 grew heavy again. Not from beasts, not from smoke, but from marching footsteps, dozens of them, shaking the entire clearing. The rival tribe had returned, this time not with 4 warriors, but with 40. All armored, all furious, all staring at Ethan like hungry predators. Raylin stepped forward, placing herself between Ethan and the incoming army. Her body shook from the earlier battle, but she stood tall, unmoving, unbroken. Ethan, still sitting on her shoulder, felt the tension in her muscles. She was tired, wounded, but she would die before letting anyone touch him. The rival leader Vashar stepped out of the crowd, eyes still bruised from their earlier fight. She glared at Raylin and pointed her spear. "You dare kill the great stalker?" Her voice thundered across the camp. "You dare steal the human male from all tribes?" Raylin growled, "He is under my protection." Vashar spat on the ground. "Then you will face the trial of command, here, now." The crowd gasped. Ethan blinked. What is that? Why does it sound bad?" Raylin whispered. "It is a challenge for leadership, a duel, to the death." Ethan nearly fell off her shoulder. "No, you just fought a monster. You're bleeding. You can barely stand." Raylin lowered her voice so only he could hear. "If I refuse the trial, they will take you. And you will not survive what they plan." Ethan felt ice crawl down his spine. Vashar smirked. "Choose, Raylin. Fight me, or surrender the human." The tribe murmured. Ethan's grip tightened on Raylin's hair braid. She slowly lifted him into her hands so they were face to face. Her violet eyes trembled. "Human Ethan, I have broken many rules, but the worst would be letting them harm you." Ethan felt his chest tighten. She wasn't thinking like a warrior now. She was thinking like someone who cared. Ethan whispered desperately, "You can't fight her. You're hurt. You'll die." Raylin looked down. "If my death keeps you safe, then it is a worthy end." Ethan's breath caught. "No, don't say that." She gently touched his tiny cheek with a fingertip. You gave me courage. You treated me like more than a weapon, more than a monster, more than a lonely warrior nobody chose. He felt his eyes burn, and because of that, I would choose this path 1,000 times. She turned toward Vashar and opened her mouth, but Ethan suddenly shouted, "Stop, wait!" Everyone froze, even Vashar, even stepped onto Relin's hand. Standing tall, facing the entire tribe, "I want to speak to all of you." The elders exchanged confused glances. A human addressing giants. Vashar laughed. "Speak then, little male. Entertain us before we take you." Ethan pointed at her. "You want me because you think I'm rare? Because you think humans are useful? Because you think science or genetics or whatever makes me valuable?" Vashar smirked. "That is correct." Ethan shook his head. "You're all wrong. I'm not strong. I'm not a warrior. I'm not special." Relin's grip around him tightened instinctively. Ethan continued, "But she is." He pointed at Relin. The crowd murmured. Ethan's voice rose. "She protected me, even when she didn't have to. She fought the Great Stalker alone. She saved your camp from destruction. She bled for you. She bled for me." Relin looked down, eyes wide, breath held. Ethan stepped toward her face. "And I choose her. Not because of some ritual, not because of a misunderstanding, not because of ancient rules." He placed a hand on her nose, just above her lips. "I choose her because she's the only one here who treats me like a person and not an object." The entire tribe fell into a shocked silence. Relin's heart thundered so loudly Ethan could hear it. He looked up at her. "And if she dies fighting you, Vashar, then you don't win anything. You lose the only warrior who fights with honor." Vashar's smirk faded. Ethan's voice softened, but grew more powerful. "I'm not property. I'm not a resource. And I won't be claimed by anyone else." He stepped back and shouted for all to hear, "I choose Relin." The world froze. Gasps spread across both tribes. Lin's knees almost buckled. Her voice trembled like a mountain breaking. "You choose me? Truly?" Ethan nodded without hesitation. "Yes, this time I choose you with full understanding. No misunderstanding. No fear, my choice." Actual tears welled in Rylin's massive eyes. She lowered her head and whispered, "Then I will live, not die." She turned toward Vashar. "No duel. The human has chosen. By our laws, his choice ends the challenge." Vashar hissed, "Human choices do not." An elder interrupted, "They do, by ancient code." The rival tribe growled, but did not advance. Relin stood tall again, placing Ethan gently on her shoulder as if he were a priceless jewel. The elder declared, "The human and Relin share the first duty. Trust." They completed the second duty, protection. Now only the third remains. Ethan choked. "Oh no. Not the third duty." But the elder raised a hand. "The third duty is not mating, human child." Ethan blinked. "It is unity. A chosen pair decides their own future. Together, as equals." Ethan and Relin stared at each other. Her eyes glowed with warmth, pride, and something deeper. She whispered to him, "Then our future begins at sunrise." But before they could breathe, a distant tremor shook the ground again. Worse than before. The elders' faces turned pale. Relin's grip tightened around Ethan instinctively. "This tremor," the elder whispered, "does not belong to a creature." And then she said the words that chilled all of them. "It belongs to the sky." The clouds above them, crackled metal glinted. A human ship entered the atmosphere. Ethan's rescue had arrived. Or something far, far worse had. The sky tore open with burning white light. A massive shadow descended through the clouds, engines roaring hotter than any storm on Vornis 12. Ethan's heart dropped. Human rescue frigate. His people had arrived, Ralin's body tensed instantly. She turned her head toward the light, eyes wide, muscles coiled, breath trembled. Ethan whispered, "That's my ship, my crew. They found me." Ralin swallowed hard. "So, you will return to your sky people?" Ethan didn't answer, because the ship was not slowing down. It was aiming directly at the camp. The elders panicked. "They mark us as enemies. Humans think we took one of their own. They come with weapons." Ralin stepped forward, placing Ethan behind her neck, shielding him with her entire body. Machines screamed overhead. Blue targeting lasers swept the ground. Cannons charged. Ethan felt his blood freeze. "No, they think you're hostile. They think you captured me." A deep sadness entered Rylin's voice. "Then I am their enemy. The first." Shot through as a bright beam of energy shot down. Ralin dove sideways, rolling across the ground with Ethan held safely in her palm. The beam scorched the earth where they stood. Ethan shouted, "Stop! They're not aiming at me, they're aiming at you." Ralin's voice cracked. "That is why I shield you." The ship circled lower, loudspeakers crackled. "Unidentified giant threat. Release the human. Surrender or be eliminated." Ethan screamed back, "I'm not kidnapped. She's protecting me." But no one heard him. To them, Ralin looked like a giant enemy species holding a human hostage. More beams began charging. Ralin turned to Ethan, kneeling slowly. Her massive hands formed a protective cage around him. "Listen," she whispered. "We have no time. Make your choice quickly." Ethan's chest tightened. "What choice?" She looked at him with trembling eyes. "The third duty, unity, the future we choose." Her voice softened. "If you go to them, you may live. But they will destroy my tribe. They will kill me." Ethan shook his head violently. "No, I won't let that happen." She continued, her voice barely holding together. "If you choose me, then you stay here, with my people, with me, forever." Ethan froze. His mind raced. His crew, his duty, his home. But then he looked at Ralin, the warrior who fought monsters for him, who shielded him, who misunderstood him but cared more than anyone ever had. And he realized the place he felt safest was in her hands. Ethan makes his final choice. Ethan stood up in her palm, screaming at the skyship, "Stop firing. She's my partner. I choose her. I choose this tribe." Raylin's eyes widened. Tears rose instantly. The human crew hesitated. Lasers flickered uncertainly. Ethan continued, "She saved me. She protected me. And if you attack her, you attack me." Silence. Even the giant tribe stood frozen. Ralin whispered, "You choose to stay with me?" Ethan placed both hands on her thumb. "Yes, with you." Her breath broke. A tear the size of a pearl rolled down her cheek. Raylin's greatest sacrifice. Ever the ship misunderstood again. They aimed all weapons at Raylin. Ethan saw the glow building. "No, no, no." Ralin exhaled slowly. Her voice was filled with an emotion Ethan had never heard before. "Ethan, thank you for choosing me, even when I did not deserve it." She lifted him high, higher than ever, her hands shaking. "I will not let them kill you." Ethan screamed, "What are you doing?" Ralin stood tall and started walking directly toward the ship, arms wide open, face strong, body completely unprotected. Ethan fought in her grip, but she held him tight, safely against her chest. "Ralin, stop. They will shoot you," she whispered. "If my death saves you, it is a good ending." Ethan felt his world collapse. The shot Feressa a blinding beam fired from the ship. Ralin turned her body. Curling around Ethan, the world exploded. In white light, dust blasted into the sky. The ground trembled. Ethan covered his ears, screaming her name, "Ralin!" When the dust finally settled, Raylin was kneeling. Smoke rose from her back. Her armor melted, her skin burned, her body barely holding together, but Ethan, inside her hands, was untouched. She saved him. Again. Her breathing was shallow. She looked at him with fading eyes. Human Ethan, you are safe. Her voice trembled. That is enough. Ethan grabbed her fingers. Don't you dare die. I chose you. I'm staying with you. Another tear rolled down her cheek. That is why I can die happy. Ethan's heart shattered. He screamed at the ship. Cease fire. She saved me. Stop. Stand down. The ship paused. Lasers powered down. They finally understood. The legend is born. Human soldiers descended from the ship cautiously. Approaching Raylin, Ethan jumped from her palms onto her shoulder, clutching her cheek desperately. The commander approached, shocked. Is she protecting you? Ethan shouted. She always has. She fought monsters, tribes, and she shielded me from your attack. The commander lowered his weapon. What do you want us to do? Ethan looked at Raylin, bleeding, shaking, but still watching him with love. Ethan answered softly, help her. She's not our enemy. She's my partner. The soldiers immediately called medics. Raylin exhaled weakly. Ethan, I thought you would return with them. He shook his head, tears falling freely. I'm not leaving you. My choice is us. Raylin's eyes closed faintly. Her voice was a whisper. Then, our unity begins. The elders bowed their heads. Human soldiers watched in awe. And in that moment, a new legend was born. The tale of the tiny human and the giant warrior, who would die for each other. The first human-giantess alliance. The first bonded pair. A story that would be told across galaxies. A story that began with one simple compliment.